Okay.
See if your memory serves.
It takes a lot to make a stew.
A pinch of salt and laughter too.
A scoop of kids to add the spice.
A dash of love to make it nice. And you've got
Too many cooks.
Oh, yes. Yes. That's right. Yeah, it just keeps going and going and going, right?
And going and going.
Yeah.
It's that old Adult, is it Adult Swim or something like that? Like,
Yeah, I can't remember what it was, but yeah, that was super funny. Too many cooks.
Oh, so good. So good.
Yeah.
Craziness. Anyway, welcome.
All right. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I don't think our video is gonna work, so we'll
Bummer.
just get to it.
Okay.
I thought we could talk about drums and we could talk about all that. I wanted to eventually make this about kind of an archive of some of the best moments of Between This World and the Next sets.
Yeah.
And talk about some of the songs that we played.
Okay.
And I actually printed out a list, so we'll get to that. But anyway,
Okay. Cool.
yeah,
Sounds good.
it's officially summer. How's it going?
Yeah. Officially summer now. For sure, it's nice. Yeah. Wore a hoodie today. Washington summer.
Yeah. I know it's back and forth.
Right.
Cheers to you, by the
Yeah.
way.
Cheers. Thanks. Party beer.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll get it all figured out eventually, right? That's what we always say. Next year. Let's just drink this party beer.
Yeah. For sure.
Yeah, it seems like no matter what, there's always a little technical difficulty, something that's not working right that has to be worked around or figured out.
Yes.
That's just the nature of being in a band, of life. I don't know what it is, but
Right. Yeah.
it happens definitely in the studio here all the time.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's a constant battle of figuring out where this chord goes. What is this thing gonna do? Yeah. But we get there. Every time we figure a way out, like you said.
Yeah, and it's getting a little bit easier as technology gets better and we can kind of set it and forget it a little bit. You know, you can all these programs, you can save your sessions and it comes back just like it was.
Right.
But if there's a cable that's missing, that's the problem. Like, oh, there's a cable missing.
Yeah, exactly.
So, drumming. I mean, I heard I hear through the grapevine, you've been drumming.
Yeah, man, it's
and building.
Yeah, I have wanted to build a drum set for a very long time, for really decades. And it's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to build a drum set, and so
It's more than just buying a drum set?
It's so much more than
Why is it more?
Right? It doesn't make any sense that it would be more.
No.
It must have something to do with production and all this. They can mass produce things, and so it's cheaper and all that. You know, for a single guy building drums in his garage, it's a lot of money. So, but it was good. It was a good experience. I don't think that I'll do it again.
Why is that?
It was just a lot of work. It was frustrating, and the money, and it was like every turn there was something wrong that I was doing wrong. You know, I'm kind of learning as I go. I'd never done it before. I just kind of watched YouTube videos here and there and kind of figured it out. But when you're actually doing it and getting in there, things are going to happen that are, a little out of your control. So, but I managed to recover every time, and it got finished. So I've got it set up in my basement, and it doesn't sound too bad. It makes drum sounds and stuff. And I'm still wanting to tweak with it a little bit here and there, but it was
so
good.
what was the process? Did you order shells or did you order a piece of wood that you had to bend? What's the situation?
So I didn't go that far into it. I just ordered shells. I ordered shells from a place online, And then I ordered all the metal parts, all the hardware from another place.
And was there no holes in any of the shells?
Yeah, no holes in any of the shells. They were just round or cylindrical pieces of plywood, birch plywood. And yeah, so I bought there's like a mat that this other company makes that has like all these concentric circles and lines so you can get all the holes in the right spot. And you just lay all those out, which is pretty simple, but even if it's just a little off, it's bad news. Yeah. So I had a few of those where I had to make the holes bigger because I needed to have a little more slop to get them to line up right, and then tighten them down. So, but initially I was going with this different finish. I wanted it to be a wood finish and have it, be a stain and look really cool and kind of glossy and stuff, but totally failed at that. So I had to sand all that stuff down, back down to the bare wood again, and I bought like a wrap, just kind of like a classic kind of sparkly wrap. Yeah, so that was like a $500 mistake, just that alone. So it's like, dang it. But once I got that going, I got the edges cut, so you have to cut the bearing edges so they're round and the heads sit on it. So I had to kind of modify my router table to accept these big drums and stuff so I could spin them in this circle. But it wasn't too bad once I got everything together. And but yeah, it's tedious. It's tedious. A lot of like, screwing this thing in and then doing that 50 more times, Yeah. So it's like, but again, totally glad that I did it to say that I could do it. And now I can feel happy just buying drums. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Is it like going to IKEA except for every day and putting something together every day?
Yeah, exactly. And I thought I was going to, in my mind, I thought, this is just going to be the greatest thing. I'm going to love this because I do like working in my garage and making things. Yeah. Organizational things and just I have a problem. I need to solve it. I'm going to build something to solve it. That I love that. Yeah. And so I thought it would kind of be in that same category, but it was a little outside of my comfort zone maybe. And also, you just spent hundreds and hundreds of dollars on this stuff and one little mistake and you're done,
Stakes are high.
The stakes are high. The stakes are high.
Yeah.
So, I had years and years ago had a friend of mine that makes drums help me make a drum, Aaron Malasco.
Right.
And and I was at that time I was stoked on this little project that we worked on together and made a really cool drum. And I thought, I want to do this for real. And he was like, don't.
He told you not to.
He told me not to do it. And at the time, because he's like, the market's saturated and, we don't need just like another person building drums and, and I was
he was thinking more from a competition standpoint.
Yeah, well, yeah, for sure. That was definitely part of it. And
he was always a straight shooter that way.
Yeah, totally. So I didn't do it forever and ever, but then, last year I was kind of like, I'm going to do it. This is the year I'm going to do it. Not for anybody. I'm not going to start a drum company or whatever. I just want to do it for me. And I did it. And I was happy that I did it.
They should sentence people to making drums. It's punishment, right?
You just...
You can get out when you make a perfect drum.
Right, exactly.
You're never getting out of prison.
So.
Did you hear him in the back of your mind?
Yes, absolutely. Don't. He's always been there in the back of my head. Don't do it. Don't do it.
You did it, didn't you?
Yep, I did it.
You wake up in hell or heaven. In your case.
Yes. I picture him looking at my Instagram post disapprovingly. There isn't a dislike button.
That's great.
I love Aaron. He's great.
Yeah, he is. What's the next project going to be? Wood project. Doesn't have to be musical.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I did just say I never wanted to do it again. But I do have a few, not a full drum set, but like modification. So I went with the big, full drum set build. Now I want to pull back and just do some modifying here and there. Take a drum set that is fine, but maybe could use a little tweak here and there to make it a little more interesting looking or whatever. So I'm going to play around with that a little bit.
Are you bedazzling drums now?
Kinda, yeah, kinda, yeah. You know, and I might
sew some things like macrame. Or,
right. Yeah, the like those pillows, sequin pillows, where you rub it and it goes the other way.
Yeah, you
other
can have a
thing.
drum set that does that.
Yeah.
Yuri happy, Yuri mad.
Yeah. Yeah. I just built some shelves in my garage. That was a big project that worked out pretty well. Made me realize, don't buy crooked boards at the hardware store. I figured, whatever. I'll make it work, you know?
Right.
No, you want to go for the straight boards.
Yeah.
For sure, everyone that does this is saying, go
duh.
for the straight boards, duh. But I just thought that they would kind of like bend into place how I wanted them to, and they did eventually, but it took a lot of just torque, and I was like, okay, straight boards. Take the time to rifle through the boards, get the straight ones, But it's good. Yeah, a good project. Cleaned up my garage, and but I don't have any, other than, like I mentioned, a few little modification drum things here and there. Nothing big necessarily on the horizon for projects, for woodworking projects and stuff. Just trying to get better.
Yeah.
You know, just organize. Oh, actually, that's not true. I'm going to build a workbench.
Oh,
my
okay.
garage, yeah. So I have like a big workbench that I put on these wheels where you can like lift it up and move it and then drop it back down into place. So I've got that, and that's kind of just like a work table. But then I have room to actually build like a nice workbench, like full on workbench. So that's the next project. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. So I will do social media stuff with that, as far as just, you know, posting pictures and stuff.
Oh, cool. Yeah. I mean, being practical makes a lot of sense because, you know, one, woodworking costs a lot of money.
Yes, it does.
And then, you know, just the time factor.
Yeah.
So you're spending a lot of time, you know, just making things. My dad makes a lot of things too. He'll hand us wooden spoons and flutes and
you have one of his flutes?
Yeah, we have one of his flutes.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I ran into him a while ago, and he asked me, I ran into him at Target, and he asked me that.
Oh, really?
Hey, do you want a coffee, like a tablespoon? You know?
Oh, weird.
Yeah, like for measuring out coffee. I was like, oh, yeah, for sure, but haven't seen him since. So.
No, yeah. He's probably got it for you. He's got it waiting for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. That's the kind of stuff I enjoy.
Yeah, I'm kind of into, you know, figuring out the studio thing. Like, I feel like this summer, now that we've done 10, you know, round 10, we're going to work on some other stuff for a little bit.
Yeah.
I just want to figure out what else to do with the studio. Like, clean it up, you know, because it's been like this for a year.
Right.
And I feel like every year it needs some freshening.
Okay.
Maybe that's just literally cleaning it from head to like top to bottom.
Right.
We had my neighbor, funny story. You remember, did I tell you this? Our basement was flooded here.
Here at the studio.
Yeah, here at the studio.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And it was the neighbor had a hose on.
Yeah.
Right?
So like, I'm like, for days, like it's summertime. There's no reason why my basement should be flooding.
Right.
And sure enough, the hose was on up at
Dude,
the neighbor's
that
house.
sucks.
And the neighbor wasn't there. Like the neighbor's been gone for days.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh. Well, I was relieved because I thought I was calling a plumber.
Right.
Which you never want to do.
Right. No, never.
Never want to need a plumber.
Never, ever. Yeah.
And shout out to Rick Vaughn. Rick Vaughn, I called him and he's like, look around, look at the meter. Is the meter running? I'm like, no, the meter's fine. He's like, look above there. Like, look uphill. And I looked uphill and there's the neighbor's house.
Oh, man.
Yeah, so he really like kind of had a sense about it. He's smart.
Yeah.
And I was just like, Pipe's busted. Let's call the plumber.
Right. Well, yeah, we have no idea, but yeah, it is kind of funny to have that like wisdom of
This doesn't
there's some
sound
other
right.
there's
Yeah.
some other reason behind this whole thing. Yeah.
Well, back when we had the merch arsenal at the original spot,
Yeah.
the Arsenal House, we had a water bill that was just outrageous for like months, and we're just like, wait a minute, what's going
Yeah.
on? Like nobody lives there, or
right.
what, and sure enough, we investigate and we find the neighbor had run a hose from our hose over to his house. And he was literally just using our water for his water.
Dude.
I know, dude. Like, who does that? So not only do we have to deal with all the industry craziness and people like stepping on your head to get to the top. It's a long way to the top if you want to rock and roll.
Yeah.
It's a long way to the top if you want to just have a place where people aren't stealing your water or running water into your basement, apparently.
Right, exactly. Exactly. That's crazy. That is so crazy.
I know.
Wow.
And what happened? Nothing. I mean, the guy was so old. We're just like, let's just stop it and just leave it alone.
Right, just let it go.
Yeah.
Wow.
Craziness.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
The housing market up here, I mean, everywhere really is just insane.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, I worked with a guy that sold his house. This isn't that impressive, but it was like 4 or 5 days.
Yeah.
Full cash offer. Came in like 80 over asking or something crazy. Just like,
What?
yeah, and that's just...
That is insane.
You got to expect
It's got to be, what do you think it is? Is it like corporations buying houses now? Because most normal people don't have that kind of cash.
Right. I know. Well, so I think the buyer was a family, though, from
Really?
California. Yeah, and they must have been playing the real estate game for a while. Because, who has that much cash, like, just sitting around?
Yeah.
So, but, yeah, I've heard that quite a bit around here, the all-cash offer, escalation clauses galore.
What's the escalation clause?
That's where you basically agree to pay a certain amount above the asking price.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And
Like other people might come in. Are you willing?
Yeah.
It's like eBay sniping.
yeah, it's like how high are you willing to go,
Yeah.
And people are starting to write like letters, petitioning the seller like, here's why I deserve this house. Like,
yeah. I got 5 kids to feed.
yeah, trying to play like the emotional card
The
or whatever.
heartstrings, yeah.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
heartstrings. And yeah, totally crazy. Of course, money talks, so I don't know why people do this, but maybe all things considering, all things being equal in 2 deals, maybe that's the thing that puts it over for somebody. But yeah, it's just crazy.
And
I'm really glad I'm not selling my house right now. I mean, I would make a boatload of money, but then what?
Then what do you got to buy a house?
Yeah, exactly.
And then it's that much more expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm cool. I love my house, so
That's good.
Yeah.
Glad that you like it. Yeah.
very happy.
You've been in there a couple years now.
Yeah, I've been there just about 5 years.
5 years? Yeah.
Yeah. I met my neighbor for the first time the other day.
Oh, really?
Well, he's a new neighbor. He moved in.
New blood.
Yeah, he's been there 6 months.
Okay.
Still, like,
Yeah.
I mean, we've said like, "What's up?" That kind of thing,
Yeah.
or whatever. And where I live, like the houses are all just boom, 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 right next to each other. So, anyways, I was walking out and he was walking in, and I was like, "Hey, man, how's it going?" "Hey." He's like, "My name's Malachi." I'm like, "Oh, I'm Yuri." He's like, "Oh, nice to meet you." Yeah, and it's funny because we're both very similar looking, like the black glasses.
Oh, really?
And beard. He just got his hair still, but
Yeah.
like he's kind of looks sort of punk rock. We're all black and like Chuck Taylors or Vans or something like that. Like, he seems like a pretty cool guy.
He's like a Vasily Yuri.
Yeah. And then I think he's got a little, like a young son or whatever. And I think I never see anybody else. So maybe he's doing the whole, like, kids on the weekends thing. I don't know. So I don't know, but it was kind of cool just to meet my neighbor. Cause usually like I hate my other neighbors and it's just, so.
That's crazy. I met one of our neighbors in the condos that are like across the fence from us.
Right.
And so we have like a fencing that goes really right next to a bunch of condos.
Yeah.
But there's trees and stuff in the way, so you can't see anything. But one of our trees was like falling into his yard.
Oh,
and
okay.
all of a sudden I got a knock on the door. Luckily I was home.
Yeah.
It was later in the day, and sure enough, there's this guy, and it's, hey, what's up? I live right over here, and I was like, oh my gosh, let me go check it out. And I went over to his house and looked at it. I'm like, okay, let me get some choppers, and I just got some gloves and I went to town. I started chopping all these branches.
Just with a lopper?
With a lopper.
So it was just overgrowing, or did you say it was leaning?
It was leaning, kind of like it was overgrowing and way too far. And it was sort of like from the storm or something. There was a lot of storms. So like sometimes the branches kind of break a little bit.
Yeah.
So anyway, long story, I was like, let me get my dad to come over. He's got a branch trimmer, a branch saw.
Oh, yeah.
And he came over and we sawed it, and it's way up there.
Okay, yeah.
But on his side, it wasn't. It was like right there over the fence.
Gotcha.
But because of the land goes, the land goes like down like that. But
yeah.
Anyway, I just did all this like yard work right there, and he's like, "Hey, I've got room in my yard waste bin."
Yeah.
I'm like, cool, awesome. So I just started throwing all these branches in his yard waste bin.
Oh, nice.
And filled it up. And the rest I just pushed over to the side. And then when we sawed the thing up, and it was fine. So all is well. But I got an email a couple years ago, from somebody that was like 2 up from him. It was a different unit. And same kind of thing. Like a storm had happened. A branch fell over and was like teetering over the fence,
Yeah.
And this property management company guy emailed me about it. So it was like super legalese and like just I'm like, ooh, okay, So I mean, it wasn't a big deal.
Yeah.
I just fixed it, and then I wrote him back. I was like, all set, done.
Yeah,
you know? But I liked the guy coming over, the other guy, that my neighbor.
How he handled it.
His name was Brennan.
Brennan.
Kind of an interesting guy name.
Yeah.
But the funny thing is, you know, I was like asking him, where are you from? And he was from the Midwest, Chicago, Wisconsin, somewhere in there. And I said, I've lived, he asked how long we'd lived in the house. I was like, about 10 years maybe. Yeah. And he was like, whoa, like he was like surprised we had lived here that long.
Right.
I'm like,
that is a long
from
time.
here, but
yeah, totally. But yeah, I guess 10 years is quite a while to live in one house. I don't think I've ever lived in a house for 10 years.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, you'll probably live in this one, but.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, most of my houses, I think I lived in about 10 years, but the first house I got as an adult, in air quotes, that was like 2001, maybe?
Yeah.
And
you lived there for a really long time.
Yeah, I think till we moved to where we are now, which is, we lived 10 years. So, okay. It was about 10 years, honestly. Yeah. Somewhere in there.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and it was funny thinking about your first house. Yeah. Because the guy that did the work in the basement, I think, that finished up the basement. Yeah, like his son works in the same shop I work in the shipyard. So I see him, and I don't know, I just had this thought. I was like, that's cool. That was a killer basement. I remember that.
Yeah, that's funny that Dave's probably proud that his son has a good job, because he would always talk to me. We'd be working together on the basement or various projects we've done together. And he would always talk about all his son does is play video games, that, you know. Like
yeah, he got a real job.
That's good. Well, you know, the Manette house makes me think about World's Best Neighbor.
Yes.
Do you remember him?
Yes.
John. His name is John.
Yeah, and I thought about that guy when I met my neighbor, and I was just kind of like having this thought of like,
I wonder if he's world's best.
Yeah, I wonder if he's going to be world's best. I mean, I'm pretty a hermit. I stay to myself for the most part. You know, I just do my thing.
That's what I do too.
Yeah. But like, it's cool also to like know the people that live next to you.
And, for sure.
You know that they're good people. That's just so rare these days, you know?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You know, world's best, for those, because nobody knows, might as well talk a little bit. He was a guy from, I think, Minnesota. And, just he had like, he had the woodsman kind of vibe, right? He was he had spent a lot of time up in the woods in a cabin hunting and riding snowmobiles.
Okay.
And he would be like, he was a heavy drinker, so he'd be so drunk that he'd be like diving into piles. He was telling us stories, you know, diving into piles, but he would just come over. He lived right next door to where we were at Manette, and anything we needed.
Yeah.
It's like, you guys need beer? Got you. He'd bring over a bunch of, like a case of Keystone Light.
Right.
Or liquor. He'd bring over a bottle of whiskey or whatever. Like always something, you know, even like on no occasion. And if we needed something done, he'd like come over with a tool.
Yeah.
Here you go. Speaking of which, that was a great neighborhood because our other neighbors behind us, Gene and Christine.
Okay.
They were a little older, and he would always like, if he saw an article in like the New York Times or Wall Street Journal, I think it usually was what he was reading. Wall Street Journal, like some entertainment sort of music type article. He'd cut it out, give it to me. But he was always looking out for us, you know, like anything we needed. Like if we needed some sort of tool or like had a question, we'd ask Gene.
Right.
Yeah. That was cool. It was cool to have like that. I don't really have that at the new place, but it's a little more isolated in general. Yeah. Which is good for us.
Yeah, for sure.
But we've met a couple of our neighbors. They're good.
Yeah. Yeah. That's cool. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll bleep that out. That's okay.
Sorry. I realized when
Yuri and I are actually kind of neighbors, far away neighbors.
Yeah. Same street, but like what, like a mile or more away or something?
Something like that. Yeah, like a mile and a half maybe. Yeah. But not far enough to where you can't stumble down there if you need to.
Right. I know. Seriously. Yeah.
Need some sugar. But yeah, world's best. He was always great. We went to he was a Navy husband, so his wife was in the Navy.
Oh yeah.
And so she would be out to sea.
Yeah.
And so he was home. And that's partly why.
Yeah.
You know, and when we were, you know, we first got that house, we were just young kids, not a whole lot to do. When we were back from tour, there wasn't anything to do.
Right. And he was already there.
He was already there when we moved in.
Okay.
Neil was my roommate. He rented a room, and it was just me and him. And yeah, we had parties just about every weekend.
Yes,
yes. Some weeknights, but a lot of gambling happened.
Right.
And then of course the Snake Ranch. That was the birth of the Snake Ranch, with Dave helped build.
Yeah,
that was fun.
Yeah, that was great, man. I was thinking about those times a couple of days ago, just driving down the road, just randomly popped into my head, like, if this was, you know, late 90s, early 2000s, like, it's like a Tuesday, we would have gone out somewhere at night.
Yeah.
It was like every night doing something practically.
Every night.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then Adam lived right across the street from the Manette Saloon, which is down the street from where we were.
Yeah.
So many crazy times. Yeah. I mean, we still have crazy times, but they're just different crazy times. You know? They're just different experiences. We go out and do things and have fun. But yeah, there is something about the experience, and then a little time passes and things change. Yeah. And it makes those experiences sort of calcify in a good way.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Maybe frozen in amber.
Yeah, there you go.
There's a nice tint to it.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, but life is good now, right?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. No, I mean, I'm the happiest I've been in a long time, but you know, I can still look back on those times and go, that was crazy. Like, I mean, and we didn't think like, you know, oh, this is amazing. I mean, maybe we did, but like, we lived a pretty, you know, extended adolescent kind of life anyway. Yeah. I mean, we're on the road all the time, which is, you know, I mean, we have a schedule to keep and responsibilities and all that, but it doesn't feel like it.
Doesn't feel like it.
Know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's interesting. And do you think that's affected you in your life? I mean, I'm sure it has, but I don't know what you've thought about it as far as like, was I actually stunted, or was I affected by, you know, there's even the small amount of fame, you know, whatever
Sure.
it is people call fame and celebrity. We had
Yeah.
a little bit of that, right?
Right.
Or even still do. But what do you think how did that affect you? Do you feel like you were stunted in any way, or?
You know, it is interesting because I guess to answer your question right at the top, like in certain ways, maybe, but like in other ways, I only can really recognize this when I got like a real job, you know,
Yeah.
and was working with people that didn't care who I was, and you know, you're just a face in the crowd, kinda.
Yeah. Yeah.
At least at first. But it was like, you know, where I work is a big place, and I interact with like lots of people all the time, and it definitely is different. Because what I recall is that even though when we were on tour and we were playing shows all the time and hanging out with people, and you know, because I mean, we'd hang out with people after the shows all the time, different people. But when it came down to it, it was just our little world, you know? And I think that's what I kind of, it hit me the most, is like, wow, we're this like really small little group, you know?
Yeah.
And then, yeah, but I don't necessarily think it stunted me, but it just, I don't know. I felt like what maybe experiences normal people have in a workplace, you know, from 18, 19, 20 or whatever on up through I just didn't have any of that per se. So I felt like, oh, this is crazy. Like, I know like hundreds of people now, you know, like I felt like my world got bigger when I got like a real job, which is weird. You wouldn't think that.
It is weird.
It's like the opposite of what you would think, even though
I am very sheltered in that way. Like, not a lot of people have my phone number, or like that kind of thing. Like people just, you know, over the weekend and last week, we had a few different jobs done at the house, and we had somebody come by to like measure the fireplace. Yeah. Right away, he's like, "Are you Mike?" And he's like, "I'm so sorry. I love your band, blah, blah, blah." And I'm like, you know, it's all good. It's cool, you know. Yeah. And then same thing, like these guys were picking up that big giant slide, and the guy that was picking it up, he was like, "You're Mike Herrera. What's up?" You know, like, and it just happens all the time. It's like, why is this happening? Or why does this happen? I don't know. But, you know, but also I could go to Safeway and be just a face in the crowd, of course.
Right. Yeah. Bremerton is kind of funny that way, where I almost never see anyone I know. Almost never. But it's like, how is that possible? I know like 500 people at least. Like,
you know way more than I do.
Like recognize a name at least, or like a face.
Yeah.
And someone I've interacted with even on a minimal level, you know. Yeah. So it is kind of interesting. But yeah, I don't know if I would. I don't know. It's such a unique experience that we had. Yeah. So, in some ways, I felt when I got a real job, and I only use that as a reference point because it was a pretty big shift in my life, you know, to go from full-time band guy to having a real job. But it made me realize that really being in a band, you're a small business owner and you have to take care of everything. I mean, we have a team, but there's just a lot to do, you know? Yeah. And
it's no wonder things fall through the cracks and this and that. And
so
you have to reinvest a lot of money if you really want things to run smoothly as you grow, or else, you know, you're going to grow fast, or maybe not grow fast, you know, but things are going to change, and you're going to, like I said, let things fall through the cracks.
Right.
Miss a lot of things, make the wrong decisions. Sure. I mean, all of those things have happened and continue to happen, of course.
Yeah. I mean, it's really difficult. I mean, humans, right?
And
I mean,
make an album. And make sure it's good.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, shoot, man.
But I mean, if you make something really good, you have to also put just as much effort into marketing and promoting, because if nobody hears it,
Yeah,
What's the point?
I mean, how many examples can you think of? Like, this is an amazing record. Like,
So many.
They should have been so much bigger or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just-
exactly. Making an amazing record is just one step.
It is the most important thing.
It is.
But
It
yeah,
is. It is. Yeah.
but you gotta put the pieces all together.
Yeah.
Don't stop there. Keep going.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't keep waiting, by the way. That worked out pretty good.
Yeah, that was fun. That was fun. I want to say that's the first time we ever like revealed a song when we were still kind of
Not sure if it was done.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember the first time we played it, where it was. It was probably pretty close to being done.
It was close, but things not drastically changed,
Yeah.
but like a few things changed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was fun. That was fun to kind of. I was gonna say take a risk, but I don't know if it was necessarily take a risk, but just do something we'd never done before.
It could have been a sacrifice of a song if one, it was because it was people we had already played it, people weren't as interested, or somebody else could take it before it was copyrighted and literally just,
shoot.
hey, I'm going to copyright this for my own or whatever. I mean, we're not
Right.
that important necessarily, but you just never know. Anybody could get
right.
hacked or
Yeah.
have their identity stolen, and that would be something similar.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Chichilla was talking about how people like investment companies are going to or have been and will do more
Yeah.
buy a band, like buy the rights to a band. So a group, a band, an artist, a brand.
Yeah.
So like you're saying, a band is a small business.
Yeah.
In the same way, you can sell a small business. So
True. Yeah.
so
that is true.
he's saying that there's these like investment firms that are going to put money into like, let's buy this, and then see how it goes. It's like the next level of publishing. So
Yeah.
when you sell your publishing, it's kind of the same thing because people will give you an advance
Yeah.
and then you still are doing your band and you're still writing songs and doing what you do. But when that money they're making off your songs, they
Right.
make their money back in different ways that artists don't necessarily know how to make that money, right? Like all
Right.
the avenues that you can use a song for.
Right.
And now it's just going that much further with, hey, we'd like to buy your band. And so what it would be is, I
Wow.
mean, I guess the deal could be whatever it is you strike, but something like, okay, you still put, we need, I don't know if it would be like you have to put out an album every 2 years or, a certain amount of songs every 2 years or something like that. I don't know
Right.
what the timelines are.
Yeah.
But if you were just straight up, I'm going to sell you my band and I'm done, or I've got a year of let me just finish up whatever I'm working on. But like
Yeah.
it would be like a job at that point where you're
Right.
just working for somebody else that owns your band.
Yeah, I feel like, and maybe this is not right. I remember hearing something that like AC/DC was under contract with like Live Nation to do X amount of shows or whatever, and the guys in the band were like pretty tired and kind of wanting to wind down in their old age, but Live Nation's like,
Nope.
sorry guys, like, I don't remember where I heard that, but I was like, oh my God, that's like,
It's
They
possible.
have to keep
It
working.
would be probably a different deal, but what you're
Yeah.
talking about is like a touring deal. And
Right.
if they took an advance of, okay, we're going to give 50 million or 100 million for
Yeah.
whatever this,
you're going to be playing those shows.
the next 10 years, you got to do this many shows for us to get that money back. And
Right.
that's probably what it is. Probably
Right.
not 100 million. We'd probably know there'd be some headlines, but maybe there were headlines. That's the thing about news today. You miss it really easily.
Yeah, it goes by quick.
But yeah, I think that's something that artists don't necessarily think about, the fulfillment of what they're agreeing to.
Yeah.
It's just like the money looks good, let's do it. When they do their Kickstarter, right? Like a lot of bands. And they're like, oh my gosh, we made so much money. And they realize, oh, we have to put money into it. We spent, on just ad money from the Kickstarter, we probably spent half of it. Like,
Right.
it's just insane how much money everything costs.
Yeah.
And then now after COVID, the costs are even more.
Right.
Especially for, traveling's up, hotels are going to be up, everything's going to be up.
Oh, yeah.
Just pass it on to the consumer.
Yeah, absolutely. The demand for those things are, going to skyrocket
Yeah.
post pandemic. And You're right. They're
Yeah.
oh, take more of your money.
A lot of people are asking me, you know, are you guys going to continue to do live streams after you
Yeah.
go back and do, you know, regular shows?
Right.
I've always said yes. I mean, I
Yeah.
think we will. And
Yeah.
I've seen recently, Anthony Green, a friend of mine, and there's a couple other artists I can't think of right now, but they're doing shows, like live shows,
Yeah.
but they're advertising a live stream.
Oh, okay.
And so they're like, if you can't make it, I'm doing a live stream of the show, blah, 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 which we had already talked about a lot of that's definitely going to be happening.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I wonder who gets the rights to those, you know. You have to make that deal ahead of time because you don't want to show up to a show
Yeah.
where you've only negotiated your live ticket fees and all that.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they're selling tickets to your online show. You're like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there might be a lot of that with some less savvy bands, you know,
Sure.
that aren't thinking down the line. They're just like,
Right.
yeah, we'll play. Cool.
Yeah.
And then they've got all these promoters or Live Nation or whoever, you know, has all the rights. And then once the live stream is done, where's that video, that recording go? Does
Right.
it go on the venue site or does it go to the band? Probably the venue site. Or,
Right. Yeah. Because they seem to be the people that are thinking about all that kind of stuff where bands often,
Bands just want to play. They just want to
often-
play.
Yeah. And so that they're taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think I mean, honestly, that's why we got taken advantage of. We just wanted to make
absolutely.
music. We just wanted to make an album. We just wanted to do well, to be successful.
Right.
All of these things, you know, it's
Yeah.
like you get that enthusiasm from these young artists and it's an easy recipe to take advantage.
Yes, absolutely. And we, you know, when you were talking about earlier where like a lot of bands will see the money, you know, and just jump at it and not really realize what they're committing
There's a
to.
bunch of other money here.
I
Yeah.
felt like, we were almost the opposite. You know, we were never presented maybe with like,
we were never
insane-
given the money.
We were never given the money, but like, I felt like the money was never, I mean, when it came, you know, few and far between or whatever, but we were, you know, grateful for it. But I felt like we mostly, at least us, had the right heart about it. Like, you know, being responsible with it and not just going nuts with it.
Yeah, I agree.
But, you know, and I think that's absolutely to your point. Like,
Easy to get taken advantage of.
yeah,
there.
we got taken advantage of because we didn't care.
Yeah.
We weren't paying attention. Like, wait a second. Yeah.
And when we were presented with deals, we weren't into it usually.
Right.
Like the Japan deal with, I think Tooth and Nail was like, hey, there's a company in Japan that wants to put the Pokenecha Punk on a shoe.
Yeah.
And we were just like, no.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it probably was a good idea to say no.
Yeah.
But
Well, because we
not
lost
even
that.
hearing like how much money are they going to give us? How much money are you getting? Like, you know,
Right,
like,
yeah.
wait, are you going to do the deal anyway and just cut us out? Like, so all these things we didn't even know to like question a little bit more and be a little more, I don't know, pragmatic about it.
Yeah.
But
It's
all passion when you're, it's
Yeah.
like spit, you know,
and
spit and piss and
yeah, and it's almost kind of like with a new relationship or something like that. Like there might be some red flags, but you don't want to see the red flags.
yeah.
And I feel like that's sort of the way we were in the beginning too, where we just didn't want to see any negative possibilities. We just wanted
Yeah.
to make records and do music and do our thing. And this guy wants to help us out, you know?
Yeah.
So,
And same with Creighton too.
yeah.
Like he's
exactly.
helping us. Everybody hates him, but he's helping.
Yeah, totally. Like, wonder if we should be paying attention to that fact, but, you know?
It's like nobody else is here. That's the you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I hate to get into this, but the Free Britney thing. Do you know about this?
Very little.
Free Britney. So she is under a conservatorship where her dad, I don't know his name, Mr. Spears.
Yeah.
He's basically in charge of everything. So like she's wanted a different her manager she tried to get rid of a long time ago, and then he just brought the manager back, and then like I mean, there's so much more, but
Yeah.
basically she can't fire or hire an attorney. She's finally getting a new attorney. She has a public court appointed attorney, Britney Spears.
Wow.
Because she is not allowed to spend her own money to buy and hire an attorney, because if she did, that would go against who's in charge of the conservatorship, her dad.
Yeah.
And her, you know, the rest of her family and her manager and all this. And it's just like, it's literally slavery. And so they
Yeah.
make her work to pay all this stuff
Yeah.
that goes against her. So she's paying all the legal bills. When she sues, you know, somebody for mismanaging her career,
Yeah.
she pays that legal bill. And it's just mind blowing how she can't get out of this. Like no
Yeah.
one will help her. And apparently there's like a lot of like, there's this one lady that's sort of like, it's not Scientology, but it's like a religious lady that's like in charge of a bunch of, she's been in charge of different conservatorships and tried to get like Courtney Love, tried to get Justin Bieber, and she got Lindsay Lohan, like people like that, you know, they're
Okay.
in trouble. They have meltdowns. And
Yeah.
Amanda Bynes, she was
Oh,
trying to
okay.
get her, and she was
Okay.
like asking her friends, you know, should I trust this lady? Because no one else will help me. You know, and it's
Wow.
like when no one else will help you and you're a celebrity like that, you don't know who to trust.
Yeah.
When you have these people come in and they're snake oil salesmen.
Right.
You know, they say all the right things, they get in,
Yep.
and then they've got control of everything. And that's what's happening with Britney is unfortunately her own family.
I know. That's
Yeah.
nuts. Her
And
dad.
she doesn't even live alone. She lives in her house, but there's always security. There's always housemaids and stuff, and
Yeah.
they live in there 24/7, and she
Okay.
pays for them.
Wow.
And she's not allowed to ride in the car with her boyfriend by herself. And this is
It's just
a
crazy.
grown woman, you know.
Yeah,
like-
I don't understand, like, how does it get that just messed up?
Yeah,
Out of
like-
control, like yeah, that's
apparently she said that they would give her lithium. They were giving her lithium.
Okay.
And then so whenever she was going to go on public or in public record,
Yeah.
she would be on lithium. So she would seem so out of it and drugged up. The whole public, of course, you know, sees this.
yeah.
They have their own story. They have
Right.
their Britney's crazy.
Right. Yeah. And so it just
Wow. When the
lends-
truth could be the opposite, that she's trapped.
Yeah.
It's like being sort of paralyzed in your own body, but awake and having, you know, somebody's doing surgery on you and you're just screaming.
Right. Oh my god.
So yeah,
Wow.
free Britney. And Lady Gaga is like somebody that had talked about free Britney in the past, but now that this has all come up,
Yeah.
she won't say anything because there's some connection between her management and the lady. I can't remember the lady's name.
Okay. Okay.
And then, well, Miley Cyrus, on the other hand, is great. She is like, free Britney, free that bitch. When she did a show in Las Vegas a couple days ago. So, I mean,
funny.
so there's like different like celebrities that are really open about it. And then the one
Yeah.
like Kim Kardashian is not saying anything,
Huh. Interesting.
which she's got ties allegedly to this lady.
Okay.
And so like anybody that has ties to this lady isn't saying anything. So it's like a huge red flag and really weird because it's people
Yeah.
that have been outspoken about a lot of things in the past.
Right,
You know,
right.
free this person, but they won't say free Britney because
Interesting.
they're under the thumb.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is all allegedly. I don't really, you know, I've been hearing from my wife. She's been telling me about it. So
Oh, okay.
it's pretty interesting though, because I want a free Britney.
Right.
I want her to be free to do whatever she wants to do. And
Yeah, it's just crazy that it just doesn't even make sense.
she doesn't, apparently she doesn't run her own social media. So all the social media is sort of set up to make her look crazy. It's like,
Dang.
they repost the same photos a bunch of times. Like,
Okay.
who would do that?
Right.
They repost her dancing and twirling around in dresses and
Okay,
like,
just-
just like,
Being kind of nutty.
and it seems kind of like when they do it, she's on the lithium.
Okay.
And then there's also a speculation that it's a one-way mirror. She's dancing in front of a mirror and they're
Okay.
filming her.
Okay.
Because
okay.
it's like a bunch of the same videos from like a similar time frame.
Okay.
and then they won't have anything, and they'll just repost all those videos forever. And then, I mean, look at her. Anybody can just go to her Instagram and look at what I'm talking about.
Okay.
It's very strange. It doesn't seem like a normal person, and I feel like it's on purpose to make
Right.
her look crazy.
Right.
Just like if you're on lithium and you don't need to be on lithium,
Right.
you're going to be a little slurry.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So free Britney.
Yeah,
right.
seriously.
Let's get into Between This World and the Next.
Okay.
I printed out all the sets.
Oh, wow.
The only thing I don't have is the actual requests that we did on the there was one show we did, an all request show where there's a bunch missing. It just says requests plus 15.
Oh, that's right.
But anyway, take a look.
Oh my God, that's crazy. And fine print.
I got to say, like, going back to October 16, that was the first show.
Yeah.
And that was 2020.
Yep.
Much more nerve-wracking than the last one. You know, like the
Yeah.
nerves are different. Like,
Yeah.
we've done this so many times by the time you get to 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
With the first one, it was like, what's going to happen? Are people going to like it? Is it going to work? But
Yeah. Yeah.
it did. And doing the if I remember correctly, we played Never Learn second. Was that the second song we played?
Yep.
So that was that felt so good to play a song that would normally not feel good to play live. Like if we played that live normally, like at a show, people would just be like standing there. Like a few people would freak out.
Right.
But I feel like for some reason, just this medium, this media version of shows, you know, people watching us in our studio, it really opened up those deep cuts, and it made it like the opposite. It made it like people would rather hear a song they
Yes.
didn't know.
Yeah, it seemed like, yeah, absolutely right. It seemed like they were the more obscure the track, the more excited people were getting about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because live shows, the audience response is definitely can, you know, increase or sort of kill the vibe of something. We're like, that didn't go over that well, just on how they're responding.
Yeah.
And yeah, in these live streams, we don't really get I mean, we get some of it through the chat, but not in the same way. So everything feels, it's the energy we're putting into it, and we're loving every second of it. Everything feels good like that.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
And then you see pretty much only positive comments on the chat. You see like, oh my God, I can't believe they're playing this song. And then there's just like, you know?
Yeah.
And so, so what you do see is positive. And man, that to me was just like, I think we got something.
Yeah.
You know, it was cool. It felt so good to sit with you guys after the show, and just like, it felt like it was after a regular show, any old show.
Right. Yeah, someone was asking me or talking to me about the live streams, and but I bet you can't wait to get back to real shows, which is true. But I was saying, but even still, even with these live streams, there is still that like nervous energy, kind of that excitement. Like it feels pretty damn close to it, you know, as close as we can.
Yeah,
Sure.
it does.
Yeah.
Well, because it's real. It's a show that we're doing live, and if we screw up, everybody's going to see us, and it's going to be as many people as at a regular show, if not more, probably more.
Yeah.
Hard to tell, you know, per ticket, because usually per ticket, there's a few people that watch just by themselves, but a lot of people watch with their families.
Right.
There's 3 extra people.
Yeah, exactly.
Or whatever. 2.5 extra people. But yeah, it feels real. It is real. Like I just said, I'm repeating myself at this point. But
yeah, someone had asked, "Are those live?"
Because nobody else does them live.
Right,
Everybody else is like, "Hey, come buy tickets to our live show this weekend. We already did it." But you know,
I'm like, no, it is right out there. And there was, I can't remember which one. Oh, I think it might have been the second show where. Yeah, I mean, we'll have little mistakes here and there, but there was one where I like fully started the the song wrong, and like I caught it within a few beats.
It was super quick. Yeah.
And stopped, and then just kept going. So it's been great. It's been such a fun thing. I look forward to the practices that we do for these. It's just been so good to continue playing and keep it up. It's like, it's so fun. And I was thinking of the same thing. I'm like, I'm sure that we're going to continue doing these, some hybrid model of some of these and some real shows. And, it just makes sense.
Yeah.
It's so crazy that would you ever have thought that this was going to be the way things were? No. But here we are, adapting and figuring it out and really having a good time with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's been a lot of fun. It's been challenging to figure out some of those bass lines, figure out, okay, what makes sense to do live, what's going to sound good. Backup vocals too, a lot of times talking to Tom and Chris about do we do just like the record or we change it up, like things like that.
Right.
But I mean, you've been so solid.
Yeah.
Every song, I mean, you're always solid, but I mean, we base everything off of you basically.
Right,
So,
right. Yeah.
Has there been anything that's been like, oh, I don't know if I can play that song? I don't know.
There have been a few. There have been a few where I was like, gosh, I just, stuff from like Teenage Politics mainly.
Mm-hmm.
Like we haven't delved too deep into Poking At Ya, but I definitely was like a lot busier of a player back then, and I don't know. I think I just played differently, and so I was like, I've cleaned things up as the years have gone by, and so going back and trying to play this kind of sloppy stuff but clean it up. There's been a few songs that were difficult, like Falling Down is one I think of.
Yeah, that is a tough one.
It's almost like, what was I doing there? But it kind of works, but that was one that I was like nervous about. And a few other ones from Teenage Politics.
Self-Serving with a Purpose. That wasn't too hard.
Yeah, no.
I mean, for me, it was like Kicking and Screaming on the last set.
Yeah.
That was hard to remember all the little nuanced parts, all the changes.
Yeah.
Not hard to play them though. It's not that. It's just when you have so many new songs and basically every couple weeks you're like resetting. You know, okay, we're doing a new set now, and that's the challenge, is like not getting overwhelmed.
Right.
And once you like, I'm only focusing on this set, and it worked, just focus on that set, do that song. Like when there was songs that I was worried about, I would just sit down with it, play it. I'm like, okay, I know if I just keep playing this maybe once a day, I'll be fine. The bridge on the what part is it? Is I think it's the bridge on can I see that list?
Oh yeah.
You see it. It was on the last set. Not it was on the set number 9. Shanghai in Shanghai.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. The song itself was a little hard, to like keep together just because of the rhythm of it. And then you add that bass line. The bass line was not hard once I got through my practicing of it. But at the beginning of the process, it was enough of a problem that I've talked about it at least 3 times on this podcast, I think. But I kept talking about how hard it was and how I was like practicing. But yeah, it was literally, for me, it's just reps.
Yeah.
It's not like, oh, I can't remember or this or that. It's like reps. And if I've done it enough, I'll get it. And if I haven't done it enough, I'm going to screw it up.
Yeah, totally.
So it's it.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, it's been a really interesting period. I feel like I've grown. I feel like this has helped me grow, like as a drummer, and kind of having to figure out how to play certain things. Like really have to think more like, how am I going to attack this part and be able to nail it every time, And so far, for the most part,
what do you mean by that? Because like...
this music, it's pretty, it can be pretty intense. I almost feel like a metal drummer sometimes.
Yeah.
Not that, what we're doing is metal, but things come quick.
Yeah.
They're over quick, and it's got to be tight and all that. And so I can get a little mentally carried away sometimes because the music is so just intense and kind of all over the place sometimes. So I have to kind of I have to sort of center myself and calm myself down, but really like think about the angles of attack with my sticks against my cymbals and all just really like breaking it down more than I ever have. And I think that I've just had to do that because we're playing songs that we haven't played in a long time. We're playing a lot of songs. I don't know. And yeah, I think it's allowing me, my head is in this band so much more between this world and the next project than it normally is, really, because when we're playing regular shows, we're not practicing multiple times a week, every week, back to back, you know? So, I mean,
we're pretty much just doing like the week before we go out,
yeah,
right?
Yeah. And then, we get a couple weeks, we're out of it, and then we get back into it a little bit. So I just think it's almost like the old days when we would like come home from tour and take the weekend and then get right back into it 5 days a week, you know?
Yeah. 5 days a week.
Yeah.
We used to practice 5 I can hardly remember that.
Yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, we were not kidding around, you know?
And it would be like 3 hours.
Yeah, it was, I mean,
least.
we would do like noon to 5 every day. So it was pretty chill, but like playing, Life in General songs for 5 hours every day, But we knew that's what we needed to do. And this is the same way. Like, I wouldn't want to practice less.
Yeah.
Because
no, I think we need it.
Yes.
It's great.
It is good. And I really do. Like, it's so funny because a lot of times, I mean, it's physical work to do this stuff. So, there's part of me that's that sort of lazy part of me that's like, okay, I gotta, like pull it together for a couple hours here, you know?
There's no like half-assing the drums. You have to really do it. I mean, you can kind of like half-ass the bass and like, I can half-ass singing even, but you guys would know it.
Right.
And sometimes I do, but usually not the whole set or,
No.
a song
I never noticed that you were half-assing anything.
Only if I'm I feel like I'm getting sick or something. I'm like, stressed out.
Right.
But usually I just sing. I sing. I just do whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's weird because I'll sing just as well when not warming up. Just like today when we were recording something, just started singing. It was fine.
Yeah.
Like nothing, no big deal.
Yeah.
Because I'm not stressed about it. I'm not thinking about it at all. But
Right.
like when you have a show, the reason why you have to warm up is because you naturally tense up a little bit. So you got to warm up to like combat that. You have to like relax because you're more tense.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. It's a weird thing, but I've gotten better. I've gotten less nervous, less, I don't know what the word would be, but neurotic, I guess.
Yeah, totally.
I try to be a little bit, but I like my routine before a show.
Sure.
And just like you like to warm up and do your thing. It's like whenever there's been a few of these that have kind of crept up on us and I haven't really warmed up as much. And there was one show probably that I was like, I bet I would have done better if I would have been more mentally prepared rather than just like,
Right.
But for the most part, I've been feeling really good about all of these between this world and the next sets.
Yeah, like me too. I think maybe I could think of one or two where I was like, wow, that was a slog. Like that was really just front to back so hard. And not really sure why, but that's the kind of nice thing about the frequency that we're doing them in is like I can take that performance and the things that I thought I didn't like about it. Of course, listening back to it or watching back, it's fine.
Yeah.
It's like, but how I feel when I'm doing it is important to me. So yeah, and then I can kind of incorporate the lessons learned right into the next batch of songs, And I think because we've been doing these regularly enough, it's you can actually like capitalize on the things that you want to get down better.
Yeah.
Instead of it being, well, in 4 months, I'll hopefully remember this lesson or whatever it is,
Yeah.
When we were doing live
I know what
shows,
you mean.
sometimes it would be good periods of time.
Yeah.
Shows. Yeah.
So when we go back and do live shows, is there a couple of these deep cuts that you think we should bring out and do?
I mean, yeah, for sure. I think I don't really have anything right off the top of my head, but Kicking and Streaming was a lot of fun. I like that song.
Yeah, we could do that.
That was a good one.
It's got a great chorus too. I mean, so
Yeah.
it's not like it's a deep cut, but it's a good song. It's solid.
Yeah.
I really like that one.
I mean, I just think it's cool. Yeah, now like.
And it's good lyrically. There's nothing wrong with it. It's good.
Oh
good
yeah,
to
no,
go.
it's a great song. It's a great song. Yeah. Sorry, yeah, I just don't have anything right off the top of my head. But
that Cootie song was fun.
oh, that's right. Yeah, No Brain was fun.
No, we did Blank.
I'm sorry. Yeah.
It's all good.
Yeah, that's right. Not No Brain.
Well, you have no brain, so
Yeah,
you didn't know.
exactly. But I think we'll be able to, if someone asks for, I'm sure we're going to be getting requests for more obscure songs than pre-COVID and pre this.
And we have new songs, and so I mean, that's the thing. It's like we gotta.
That's true.
Incorporate worries now and again.
Yeah,
Can't keep waiting. Even Fever. We haven't done Fever Dream, but we will.
Right.
I'm sure.
I love that song.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good times. I mean, the covers we did. We did Teenage Bottle Rocket cover.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that was a lot of fun.
That was that the first set or the second set? I think it was the first set.
Yeah, first set. That's crazy.
We just went for it.
Yeah.
That was not planned. That was just, we were messing around with that song because it's called Without You.
Right.
And actually, Tom Chichilla told me about that song. He's like, did you know Teenage Bottle Rocket has a song called Without You? And he's like, check it out. I was like, oh my gosh. And it's good.
It's a good song.
It's a really good song.
Yeah.
And so we just started messing with it. But Blank was also not planned at all.
Right.
Blank was not planned. It was just.
How did that even come about? I forgot.
I don't know. I think just somebody would just started playing it, and we're like, let's just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, totally.
All right.
Yeah, man, there's just this, just looking at this list.
It's a lot of songs.
It's a lot of songs.
I would say our sets were from 25 to 30 songs a set, and we did 10 sets. Let's say 20 of those per set were unique songs, right?
Right, yeah.
Right there, you got 200 unique songs, no repeats.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Yeah, dude.
That's crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
I wonder if that's I'm sure it's close. Yeah. Well, it is crazy. I appreciate everybody that watched 1 or 10 of those shows. It really, really helped us with our year in the last 2020 and 2021. So thank you guys.
Yeah, we seriously couldn't have done it. You guys have kept us afloat.
Yeah.
And here we just passed 29 years.
That's right. 29 years.
Yeah. I didn't even I always think about it, but it just passed. I remember seeing your post.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 29 years.
Wow.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's great. Amazing.
It just, I think for me personally, it's so cool. And I'm sure it is for you guys too. Just, 29 years of MxPx. I mean, it's like anything in life, right? There's ups and there's downs, and there's times that you like doing it more than other times, I mean, when you do something that long, sometimes you're like, this one.
Yeah.
But to be able to be sitting here at year 29 going this is the best, it's just great, to be able to say that. And then we've had a lot of good years.
We've had other years that were this is the best.
Yeah, we've had a lot of good years, but yeah, it's just so cool to be able to still be doing this, and like each other and have fun. Our practices, I mean, you guys don't see them, but they're a lot of fun. So we're cracking up the whole time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be like HBO After Dark or something. I mean, there's no nakedness, but you know, it gets a little spicier.
Right,
It's a little spicier. It's fun. We have a good time.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Right on. Well, thank you so much for taking the time,
of course,
Yuri.
Mike. Thanks for having me.
Yep. All right.
Okay.
We'll end it.
All right. See ya.
Peace out.